Good afternoon, good evening. I am Professor Dr. Beatriz Lúcia Salvador Bisotto from Brazil, and it's a great pleasure to be here in the International Conference on Sustainable Agriculture. At first, I would like to thank Dr. Amrik Singh for the invitation to be here in this special conference. I will talk about the new dimensions of sustainability. And I will focus my presentation on Brazilian agriculture. Brazilian agriculture is recognized as competitive and a generator of jobs, wealth, food, fiber, and bioenergy for Brazil and for other countries. It is one of the sectors that most contributes to the growth of the national GDP and accounts for 21% of the sum of all the wealth produced, a fifth of all the jobs, and 43.2% of Brazilian exports, reaching $96.7 billion in 2019, for example. It was one of the few segments of the Brazilian economy that showed positive growth. Internally, the sector contributed to keeping the real price of the basic food basket in decline. Agriculture is always linked to everything that happens in the world: environment, economic crisis, social, political, and wars. The reflexes occur immediately in the agricultural sector. We have the recent example with the crisis of war between Russia and Ukraine. The reflexes in the agribusiness sector were unprecedented. You can see in this graphic here, the agricultural prices surge. Sustainable agriculture is one that respects the environment, is far from a social point of view, and manages to be economically viable. Agriculture, to be considered sustainable, must guarantee to future generations the ability to meet production needs and quality of life on this planet. However, in the last 4 decades, a growing movement has emerged to question the need for production quantity and especially its quality. Today, this movement for sustainable agriculture is very important. A variety of philosophies, policies, and practices have contributed to this acceptance, but some common themes and principles are woven into most definitions of sustainable agriculture. The goal of sustainable agriculture, meeting society's food and textile needs in the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable agriculture practitioners seek to integrate the three main objectives into their work: healthy environment, economic profitability, social and economic equity. All people involved in the food system, like producers, food processors, distributors, retailers, consumers, and waste managers, can and should play a role in ensuring a sustainable agricultural system altogether. There are many practices commonly used by people working in sustainable agriculture and sustainable food systems. Producers can use methods to promote soil health, minimize water, reduce pollution levels on the farm. Example of sustainable agriculture, sustainability. A great example of sustainable agriculture is planting hedges along field edges or ground covers between rows, providing habitat for insects and birds that prey on pests, or planting more diverse mixes of crops that confuse the deflect pests. Sustainable agriculture and society. Sustainability. Agroecosystems cannot be sustainable in the long term without the knowledge, technical competence, and skilled labor needed to manage effectively. Sorry. Another view on sustainability here is social, economic, and environmental sustainability are closely interlinked and necessary components of truly sustainable agriculture. For example, farmers faced with poverty are often forced to extract natural resources, such as the soil fertility, in order to survive, even though environmental degradation could harm their livelihoods in the long run. Agricultural social sustainability is related to taking care of the internal resources of agricultural systems that will occasionally guarantee lasting production. A sustainable rural property is considered to be one that simultaneously generates economic, social, and environmental benefits known as the three pillars that anchor sustainability, enabling its sustainable development. Sustainable development. Sustainable development appeared in all official government documents, diplomacy, and environmental discourses in the United Nations. However, a timeless and visionary author, Sachs, from 1993, addresses the five dimensions: social, economic, ecological, spatial, and cultural. You can take a look at here. The economic efficiency is evaluated and not just the criterion of business profitability. In this way, the management of resources is analyzed carefully, observing the investments that are made, which can be both private and public, protectionist barriers, limited access to science and technology in some regions, among others. In the social aspect, it is understood as a social axis, a broad process of development that, supported by another growth, makes society more aware of its role in promoting greater equity in income distribution and in sustaining the quality of life of the individuals. The ecological, the pillar ecologic is focused on the best valuing of the natural resources, intensifying its potential and valuing of ecosystems, and has the goal the reduction of volumes of residuals and pollution, conservation of energy, and the use of recyclables. This intensify and supports the research that promote the obtention of technologies, modern technologies, to develop the urban part, the rural and industrial, in an efficiently form. Spatial. This is a more balanced rural-urban configuration with a conscious distribution of urban and rural territories are settlements. The cultural view, it favors the search for modernizing processes of integrated agricultural systems, aiming at changes within the cultural continuity so that There are specific solutions for the ecosystem, the culture, and the area. Aspects and indicators for social impact assessment in agriculture. First, we're going to talk about the job, dedication to education, proportion of students type of training, economy, net income of the establishment, diversity of income sources. Then we have the health, incidence of endemic disease outbreaks, sports and leisure, management, dedication and profile of the person in charge, waste recycling. Concluding, the concept of sustainability and its approaches in society are the targets of studies carried out by scholars in the area, since throughout its evolution, the definition of sustainability is permeated by semantic and ideologic contradictions. So thank you very much for this opportunity to share knowledge with all of you. Thank you very much.